Each week, the Mackie gets a little worse. I hate to say it, but the static and the breakup you're hearing is not from the amp. I have done everything I can. It seems to do it more on the lower notes. What you're hearing now are these two microphones. I've just connected the two microphones on the cabinet and the direct box. So that's what it sounds like on this microphone and this microphone. If I turn on the two mics by the cabinet and the DI box, we get this with these two microphones. And if I turn off these two mics and we just have the mics on the cabinet and the direct DI, I have been playing with it, and there's a huge change. If you look right there, right where my finger is, notice we are not on a preset on the ART. This is the first time I've used my rack amp without the Applied Research Technology unit. We are also not using the silver inline tube amp. So the changes I made, we are using the SYN2 Synergy rack mount module with a Friedman BEDLX rack mount distortion module. We are also using the BBE 362. And for effects, yes, that would be what the poll's about. We are running, if if I can pick it up. A Line 6 Pod Express Black. So all the effects that you're hearing are coming from the pod. I don't think it's too awful bad. I wanted to see what I could get just running the rack mount Friedman module and my 6L6 power amp. Overhead mics only. And that's far away from the cabinet. Oh, something else. So the left channel is running through 2 greenback Celestions, and the right channel is running through 2 Celestion Penta drivers. So if I turn back on the DI and the microphone, so you're getting 3 sources. You're getting the overhead mics, the cabinet mics, and a direct DI, which is the little pedal there on the floor that's just giving me a cab model. So that's what I've been kind of playing around with. What's difficult, I've gotten used to using a full modeler. So I hesitate when I go to talk, because if I turn these off to get the room ambience down and just use the microphones, I forget. So if I can get my little squirrel brain around it, I think each week I get a little closer. Is this sound better than last week? That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I have 3 different signals going on here. So I can turn down the room mics, and we can mix things. So if I turn down the room mic, let's turn it down to about right there. Now you can hear my voices went as I do that, you won't be able to hear me, but let's take it down a little bit more. To me, that sounds a little better. When we were in the studio years ago, we did set a mic way back in the room, and we would only give it about 25%. Okay? So at this volume, I'll reset it. What you're getting is I have the mics on the cabinet at 100%. Okay? The DI signal is at 80%. Okay? So if we drop this down to about 20% on these mics, we get this.
Is the amp one clean, and are you just using the Black Express?
I have just a little bit too much reverb on the funny honey, don't I? Let me fix that, guys. No, I am not using the black for any distortion. The only thing I'm getting out of the Line 6 pod is the effects. The delay, compression, and and a little chorus. So if I go, let me see if I can pull this up. I do have this, go to display screen, and of course it's not there. And it's not there. So I don't know if you can see that now. Those are the settings.
Can you come up just a tad more on the room mic?
A tad more on the room mic. Okay. I'm standing way away from the room mics, guys, actually. So that's the settings that we have right now. You can see I am not using a cab because the Line 6 Pod Express Black is going through the effects loop of the Synergy, and then the Synergy is going out to the 6L6 power amp to the speakers. So I don't need a cab sim here. Okay. Now I have two sets of line outs. The main outs are going to the Line 6 power amp. The secondary outs are going to my little pedal that has the cabinet in it. Okay. And then that runs to the Mackie. And of course that's stereo as well. So I have two microphones on the cabinet, one microphone on each cabinet. That runs to the Mackie. So that's my mic signal. My other set of mains coming out of the Synergy, the Friedman, like I said, are going to the cab emulation pedal. I can't use the cabinet emulation here, and I can't use the well. I guess I'm not sure how the Effects One loop runs in the Synergy SYN2. If I add distortion here, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it would be after the gain stage of the Friedman. It does have two effects loops, so I might be able to go in and tell it to change the routing, but then it would be pre-gain stage on all this, if that makes sense. So I don't want the delay in the course before my gain stage. So I'm using it post preamp, then goes through the effects loop, then goes back into the Synergy, and if there was a secondary effects loop, number 2, it would send it there, but it's not, so it goes to the power amp, and then it goes to this little pedal on the floor that simulates the cabinet. And of course, it's been doing that too. You guys see that right there? It's been resyncing about every 5 minutes. It like loses connection and then resyncs. Now I have had a total of about an hour and a half to play with this thing. And this is what I got. So all the distortion that you hear, it's real tube. Okay.
Are you using the Black Express or you have effects on your amp?
No, there's no effects in the amp whatsoever. Okay. I am using the BBE, but that's just a sonic maximizer. So in the effects loop, what it's doing is it's coming out of the Synergy rack mount preamp to the Pod Express Black. Then the Pod Express Black is going into the 362 BBE and back into the Synergy. So that's my effects loop. 2 things in the effects loop. So the only thing you don't see effects wise on the screen right here is the sonic maximizer. So I do have that, but that's not really like a chorus or a flanger. That's basically like an enhancement, like an EQ. So I'm getting the EQ a little boost in the lower frequency and a little boost in the harmonics there. And that's what gives me that squeal. Believe me, an aerial exciter or a BBE sonic maximizer will 100% improve your sound.
Steve says it's probably resyncing so often due to the amount of other USB devices plugged in, just a suspension.
Yeah, 100%. Let me fix Linnell's microphone because it sounds like she's down in a cave. All right, honey, give it a try again.
I'm down in a hole.
Down in a hole. She's singing a song, and yeah, that was me attempting to sing that part. So don't laugh at me. So what I'm hearing, in my opinion, the difference between this and my ART, the effects here, I'm not going to say they sound better. Okay, now I'm comparing a brand new unit to something that was, some people call it 16-bit junk. But this is kind of proof that even an 8-bit unit can sound good if you know what you're doing. This unit, I like the sounds that it's doing, But like I said, I've only had an hour and a half, so I'm not going to throw rocks at it yet. But it doesn't seem as forward sounding as the ART. It's almost like when you add chorus, it gets more and more distant sounding and disconnected from the guitar. Wherein the ART, when you do that, I don't really get that disconnect. It still sounds kind of alive, if that makes sense. This sounds, of course, you guys are hearing something different. I'm hearing the cabinet in the room, so that's influencing what I hear in my headphones, okay? So I'm not getting a true dry mix on the back end like you guys are getting. So what I'm hearing is kind of tainted due to the drivers being in the room. It doesn't, it's very noisy as well. I've noticed that. It's not as forward sounding, and it's probably in my settings, but I'm not sure. My ART isn't that sensitive by moving, but you still get the effects. It sounds more direct, like when I'm doing this. In a way, I don't know if you guys are hearing what I'm hearing on your end, but that's what we've got so far.
Noise gate?
Well, that's one of the issues. If I go back to display screen, yeah. So here's the gate settings. I don't know if that's coming up. So right here's the gate settings, threshold, decay, and level. So it's at 0 dB and negative 78. And it almost seems like if I start messing with this too much, I don't know. We could let's turn the threshold up. I don't know. It's almost like it gets more muddy. It does not work near as well as my 30-year-old limiter gate in my applied research technology. that doesn't seem like it's affecting the overall sound. And it's not, yeah, it's not killing me there. I don't know. Like I said, I've been trying to come up with new ways of doing this. So here we've got multiple, like, headroom on the delay. You've got depth and scale, level and rate. Here we have sample and rate. And this right here, that's the overall mix. I don't know if that's coming up on the screen or not. Everything gets so messed up. So here's the sample rate. So if we increase the mix on the delay, see, it's the delay that adds all the mud. Yeah, that's what's causing it right there. It's the delay. Now that's digital. So, and we have tape delay. So if we go to tape delay, so let's try a tape delay.
What about the other amps presets?
I can switch. I have 4 channels in the Sedano and Friedman. So I can switch it, but I haven't really gotten any set up. That's a little better, guys. I think it was that other delay.
Warhart said he can totally hear the latency.
Yeah, it's not as direct as the art. And that's sad, considering the art is 30 some years old. That's much better. I'm going to make one more little change, and I think we'll be a lot closer. I am going to take a little bit, what I just did there, guys, I don't know, my screen is a little, what I just did right there, I have the DI box, okay, going to the Mackie, 2 channels, and I have the 2 mics. So I lowered the DI box. So now we're going to get about 80% on the mics and about 50% on the DI box. think it has too much stuff going on as far as this right here. Let's try to take some of that out. Feedback. Let's take some of the feedback out. It's starting to sound more in front of the room. So I think what it is, guys, I need to just figure out these controls and in the relationship of what they're doing. Like this is low and flutter. So that's going to make it's like the motors on the tape drive. The more you turn that up, the more inconsistent it's going to be. So let's turn that. That's much better.
Try the anvil amp preset.
Right here, the amp preset. I don't know how that's going to affect things because I'm getting all my distortion. I'm running a tube preamp. So this is if you don't have a preamp. So it's going to be like a fake preamp. So I've switched it to none. So I guess if I went over to my Synergy and I bypassed the Sedano and the other unit, I guess I could do that. But I don't want to add another amp on top of the amp, if that makes sense. If I was going to do that, I would just do this. I would add a distortion pedal. Because I want to use like a boost. So let's, yeah, woo. Yeah, you can tell it does not like that. I can hear it clipping it inside. Yeah, all you're doing there is adding noise to the signal chain. I mean, this preamp is quite capable of a lot of gain. So I don't think I have to worry about gain. The gain is set at 60%. So I have a tremendous, if I wanted more gain, I could definitely get more gain. So I'm over clipping a little bit now with our adjustments. I'm going to turn it back a little bit. Turn it back just a little bit more. A lot of that I forgot, it's the overheads. So if I turn off the overheads, I'm going to turn off the overhead. So this is DI and mics on the cabinet with those changes.
Click modern anvil on the left.
Modern. Yeah, when I do that, it's going to just create a lot of noise. Display screen. You can already hear it. You can't stack amps like that. See, what basically you're just introducing a ton of noise because you're already going through a tube. Usually what you want to do, you want to go through the solid state stuff first, then into the tube. So this is backwards. I'm going through the tube amp and then into this solid state unit. So you can instantly that's a lot of gain, guys. I mean, if you want more gain than that, what I can do,
The preset is on the left.
huh?
The preset is on the left.
Right. Let me go and. I don't really want to wipe out my preset. It took me an hour to get it to sound this good. Yeah, I'm not going to switch it because that's an amp model. So I don't need an amp model. I just need effects. Let's try to give it more gain. If that's what you guys are wanting, is more gain. I can't imagine. Let's turn up the gain a little bit.
How much was the Pod Express?
That's a lot of gain on a Friedman. See, I'm clipping a little bit. Let's turn
How
that
much
back.
was it?
What's that, hon?
How much was the Pod Express?
It was on sale, $120. That's a lot of gain, guys. Now I can switch. If I switch guitars, you'll really hear the difference in the gain. Let me turn it back where it was. We also have a Sedano. So this side of the preamplifier is the Sedano side. So basically, what I'm trying to do, guys, I like tubes. There's a feeling that you just get with the tube amplifier, and I miss that. I'm not saying that my little Yamaha here is bad. It's a good sounding amp. So I'm just trying to figure out which way do I want to go. Do I want to do a much nicer version of what I just picked up? It evidently it works. I'm not having an issue as far as the effects loop. So I might look into like a VP4 fractal. Yeah, that would be far better. And with the Sedano, it's MIDI, and the VP4 is MIDI. So this little Pod Express isn't MIDI. So even if I set up my 4-channel amp, which is actually a 5-channel amp, the 5th channel is a clean channel. So let's pretend I set up MIDI signals, and I have 3 MIDI channels for Sedano 1, and then 3 MIDI channels for the Sedano 2, and I could change the gains. With the MIDI, I could control the effects and the preamplifier, just like you're changing between channels. With this little guy here, I can't, if that makes sense. So even if I go over and I change to the Sedano, which is lower distortion, like a crunch, I'm going to have the exact same effects. And that doesn't bother me too much because I use about the same effects on everything. A little reverb, some delay, little chorus, and compression. And I don't. You saw the settings. I'm not using much of anything. I'm really not. I'm down at like 14%. With about a 30% wet dry mix, and I'm not tailing off a lot. So I think you get a lot of mud when you do that. So when you bring them back, it kind of tightens it up a little bit, gets it more forward in the sound. It's forward in the room. I don't know. I'm just playing, guys. We've talked about it on the Discord channel quite a bit on how you can get something. A lot of my stuff is old school. Is this better than my applied research technology unit? No, it's not near as capable. But it is I paid $120 for it. So for $120, I am getting a decent sound out of it. I don't need the amp models. I've got a Friedman and I have a Sedano. I don't need to model those amps. That's what modelers do. They're emulating the Friedman, the Sedano, and so I don't need to model that. I just need some effects for my Synergy rack mount unit. And I figured for $120, let's try it, see what it does. This is my first attempt at it. And again, we're using 2 different types of speakers too. So I'm using 2 greenbacks on the left channel and 2 Celestion Penta drivers on the right channel. You get, in my opinion, instead of chasing pickups and stuff like that, now I'm bad for it too. I'm always like, well, put a different set of pickups on it. If you really want to change your tone, speakers do more for the dollar than anything, especially if you've got a 112 cabinet. You can spend $200 on a set of Seymours, or you can spend $160 on like a Celestion creamback or a redback or a greenback or a V30, and it completely changes your sound. It really does. Speakers do a lot. That's why I'm using two different kinds of drivers. So if you're at a computer and you go back and listen to this, if you swing right and you swing left, you're going to hear the Penta driver is a little smoother and a little bit more bottom end to it. The Celestion greenback is more crunchy and has a little bit more high end to it. But when you put the two together, they kind of balance themselves out. A lot of people use a greenback and a creamback together. Cream as in like milk cream and green as in the color. Those two seem to play well. I've been hearing people like the redback now mixed with a creamback. I don't have a redback driver. I don't know if that's a crunchy sounding driver or if it's a smooth driver or if it's a punchy driver. I'm not really too sure what the redback sounds like. I do have two Celestion V30s in the cabinet over there. The V30s sound okay with the greenbacks. I don't care for the V30s by themselves. So if I take my Egnator over there and I plug my Egnator into that V30 cabinet, it just, there's something about it I don't care for too much. And I love the Egnator. Okay, I love the Celestion driver that's in it. The Celestion speaker that's in it's a creamback. So it sounds really good with that creamback in it. But when I unplug that driver and I go over to the V30, it just sounds kind of boomy, if that makes sense. That might be something that you like. If you like that more lower boomy tone, I think it's kind of a waste because if you're playing in a band, they're going to cut that off anyway. They're going to cut you off because you're taking up the room of the bass player and the drummer. So keep that in mind too. What we're doing here, this sound in this room, what I just got, probably isn't the best sound to go out and play music with. It's a more full sound. So if you were going to go out and play, you would probably want to cut the low end frequency, chop what I was just doing down. And that would probably also help some of the crunch that I was getting on some of the lower notes. I think that would help tremendously. Just do a low pass cut on the backside. I guess I could do that with the board. I have a guitar low pass cut. We could try that. Do the low pass cuts on the two input channels and see if that takes some of that fog and mush out of it. So it really depends on what you're trying to get. I just wanted to try something inexpensive, and everyone had been talking about the Line 6 Black, and I was kind of looking at it going, okay, yeah, it's got some models in it, but what if we just use the effects on it? You know, I also have a little Line 6 HX Stomp. It's a great unit. I wanted something simpler, just something with some knobs. What I did find out with this, as you turn the center knob, that's the amount of the effect, but you can't really go in and change like we were just doing on the computer screen. You can't change the wet dry mix. You can't change the delay time. You can't change the rates. So you could change the effect and the amount of the effect, but that's about it on the fly without hooking it up to a computer. So for 120 bucks, I don't think I got hurt. It seems to do okay. Do we got any other comments on that, hun? As of right now, we did a poll, and the poll reads, is the Line 6 Pod Express Black a game changer? As of right now, 39% of you are saying yes, it is a game changer. 22% of you are saying, and no, there's better out there for under $200. And here's my fan club right here. 28% of you all still agree rack units still rule. I agree with that 100%. And 11% think, what the was Line 6 thinking? I put that on there because there's always line 6 haters.
You can save your settings.
You can save my. Yeah, you're talking to somebody that's completely novice at this. So if we go back to display screen, let me close it. Yep, I gotta open it. Yeah, so this is my settings right here, and I'm not on a new preset. So I guess I can hit save here. Yep, we're gonna hit OK. Continue with overwrite. So it has overwritten that. So I guess now you want to go up to modern anvil. We can do that. Let's just see what happens. And like I said, guys, they're adding an amp. It's starting. That's not horrible for playing around just for a couple minutes. So let's go up to modern anvil because someone asked me to do that, and you can instantly hear the noise. And I already know what the problem is. You can't go through. It's going backwards. So as soon as I cut this off, you can hear how it fixes it. It's almost like coming out of your preamp to a power amp modeler and a cab sim, and then running it to your power amp to a cabinet. That's kind of basically the same thing that you're doing right here. I'm pretty good at stacking amplifiers. Believe me, my rack unit back here, remember what we were doing, okay? I was running the Synergy, okay, on the front side of the SGX. So I was also running the 212AX7s and the SGX, okay? But the Synergy was my main unit. I was just adding color with the art. Now I'm coming out of the effects loop to another preamplifier, the inline the tube amp, the AMR, the line sweetener, and I'm using that again only for color. Now I'm getting a little bit of gain in each stage, but in this scenario, if we go back to this, it's kind of backwards. If we come back to this, and let's turn the amp back on. So if we turn the drive way down, hear that crackling? That's one of the side effects. You can hear the crackling. And I'm not getting the volume. See how it goes down? And it just gets, the The sound now is way in the background. If you're going to do it, I would do this in here as a boost. But again, you want your boost before your gain stage. This is coming out of our effects loop, which is behind our gain stage. I could try the Pod Express on the front side of the Synergy. We could definitely try that. If we did that, then I think, yes, you could stack the solid state amp in front of the tube amp. So there's that one. We go back to the setting that I did. See, I don't know enough about this. See, it wants me to. There it goes. You can hear how much forward that is. I don't know. That sounds pretty decent. It's forward in the room. It's not horrible. Let me open up the chat. I'm going to set this down. I have played so much. I'm going to show you guys my finger. I'm in bad shape. Yeah, that's raw right there. See the spot? It's quite raw feeling. So when we're playing, I like that forward sound. You want effects, but it's got to sound forward. And that's got a lot of dirt in it. It'll clean up even more if we take some of the gain out. Let's take some of the gain out. That's at about 40% gain. So we're not pushing the Friedman hardly at all. You can instantly hear that the amp is cleaned up. I don't mean by clean by gain. It's not as oversaturated and muddy sounding. That's still a lot of gain, guys. That's a lot of gain. You don't want to. I used to be bad for just over gaining everything. That's still a lot. My finger's killing me. But you get the point. I actually like the gain lowered with these effects than it was. I don't need the gain as cranked as it was. I can play around if I want that more bottom end. Let's mess with the BBE just a little bit. So I'm enhancing the lower frequency just a little bit. If you go too much further than that, it starts getting like a smacky sound.
Birdman said mic is stupid low, video fine, but you can't hear it.
Huh? What was that, hon?
Thinking out. Never mind.
And guess what, guys? Proof that this guitar does it. Yeah. Where's my damn screwdriver? And excuse my French, but this guitar, look at the pickup to the strings, and believe it or not, before I started the stream, I did this. My one complaint with this guitar is this pickup and these screws. I don't think I've ever owned a guitar that does this. I've never in my life had a guitar that you constantly got to screw the pickup down. If I knew a guitar tech to fix this, I'd send it to him. much better. That's a classic tone, guys.
They want to hear the Fender player Strat with this setup.
Oh, the Fender. You know what? You guys must have been reading my mind. Unplug. We are just going to dabble in this. I don't know how many people are live right now. But if you're new here, I do not require you to be a subscriber to post. I want you to come in. I want you to chat. We are about learning here. We do all kinds of different setups, and we're not saying we're right. We're saying we're learning. And if you want to come along with the journey and learn with us, add comments. Do you have a suggestion? There's tons of equipment here. There's no reason why we can't get a good sound. But we like changing around, doing different things, trying to mix the old with the new. Just because something's old doesn't mean that it's bad. So here's our giveaway guitar. Yes, you heard me right. We are giving this beautiful Fender player away. All you have to be is publicly subscribed to this channel, and then you need to go to our Discord server, go into the opt-in room, and say, I want in on the free Fender. And you're in. And right now you have stupid good odds of winning it. I'm not going to say how many entries we have, but you have really good odds. So let's plug our Fender in here. I don't have a tremolo bar. It's in the bag. And not the guitar's fault, my fault. Hitting the volume, rolling the volume down. try our center position. Everyone likes the fourth position on a strat, so let's try that. There's the fourth position. I like the fourth position. Fender strats make me play a certain way. Even this one that has like a humbucker, it just... And you can change it. This is a tube amp, so it's going to respond. Up to our fifth position. What do you guys think of that one? takes me a little while to adjust. This neck is a little thicker than the Schecter, so it took me a couple seconds to get it adjusted to the neck. But the humbucker's got a decent sound to it. Is it as hot as the Schecter? No, it's not as punchy and it's not as gainy as the Schecter, but I kind of dig it. I like Strats, guys. It, like I said, is it as high output as the Schecter? No, this guitar is not built to do what the Schecter was designed to do. It's designed to do more standard rock. It does good at this. That's a good sounding pickup. For doing 80s rock, even the 90s stuff, that's a good sound. You know, I don't want to play songs because YouTube will bust me if I do anything that remotely sounds like somebody else. I've been hearing horror stories lately, so I don't really want to cross that bridge. But you get the point. Well, guys, if you're familiar with the channel, we're at 1 hour and 22 minutes. I definitely want to take a break. That gives everyone time to get something to drink, get some victuals, hit the restroom, and when we come back, we're going to do question and answer time, because we've got Linnell in there, and she's gonna tell us the questions that come up, and if I miss something, she can smack me in the head with a frying pan. Yeah, just like she just did. But she didn't have the frying pan that time. She was being nice. That would be evidence on video that she beats me. So she didn't want that to happen. All right, guys, we're going to do 5-minute break, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is our guitar giveaway. So be publicly subscribed, go to Discord, log in, say I want in on the guitar giveaway, and that's all you need to do to win this beautiful $850 Fender player. It's a beautiful guitar. Beautiful. Plays great, low action. And whoever wins the guitar, I will set the guitar up to their specs. You tell me what you like, I will set the guitar up, make sure it's 100% and send it to you. All right, guys, let's do our 5-minute break and we'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, let me turn off my AC unit because believe it or not, during the stream I don't run it, but just from the beginning of the stream to where we took our break, the house temperature went up 4 degrees. So it ran for about 5 minutes and did not lower the temperature. So I'm going to turn it off. So Steve has went to our Discord page, and on Discord we have a question. It says questions and topics for LI. It's for the live stream. When you hover over it, it'll say that. So he's got it's APHEX aerial exciter. It's a Type C, and he wanted to know if this particular unit was the one that I'm using. So I'm going to go to display screen. Now this is the one that he has found. There's nothing wrong with this unit. This is a solid unit. This company and BBE made very similar products. Okay, it's not the unit that I have, but I know guitar players in the 80s used that one more than the BBE Sonic Maximizer. The Sonic Maximizer was really targeted for vocals. Okay, it was later in the 90s that it came about that, hey, this thing is awesome on guitar. And then later in the 90s, the secrets of the guitar players in the late 80s started coming out. Just like there was a delay box that had 4 white buttons, a black, well, it was 3 white buttons, a black button, and a red button. And I forget what those things were called, but they were awesome delay units. And it was preset. You just push these buttons and it gave you X. I can't remember the manufacturer. There's a company making a clone of it now for about $600. But what we'll do, it's not the unit that I have, but I want to type in BBE. I've got a 362. 362. So this is the unit that I have. And this is ridiculously priced. I can already tell you that. Do not pay $685 for this piece of equipment. I don't care if it's mint. It is not worth $685. I would like to say the guy is smoking crack at $685.54. So we're not even going to look at or entertain that. Here's a 362 for $39. This is exact same unit that I have. It's just not the pretty one. $39. Okay. If you're running stereo, it is stereo on the back side. If he's got a picture of the back. The drawback to this particular unit is it adjusts both channels exactly the same. They did make a unit that you could adjust the right channel and the left channel differently. And the original one that I had, you could do that. And it made it nice, especially if you're running like we were just doing, you're running 2 different types of drivers. You can accentuate, like the Penta driver is more of a bottom end mid driver. So you could go into that one, the Penta driver, okay, you're going to increase this knob, the low contour, and the process knob you're going to cut back. But on the greenback, it's a crunchier driver. So I would do the low contour back and process up. If, you know, in the stereo version, if it had dual controls. Let's type in BBE Sonic Maximizer. here is the stereo version. The internal guts are pretty much exactly the same. So this one's $94, and you can adjust the left side and the right side, and it has bypass. So this is my unit made to the point where you can adjust the left and the right channel. That's not a hateful price. I've seen them cheaper than that. I have. It seems like that's the... Don't... If you're going to buy one, guys, look at it. These are old pieces of equipment. If it looks beat up, it was probably in someone's garage and moisture. You know, get a decent one. Don't buy a piece of junk and then when you get it, oh, this thing's awful. They're good units. This one says used really good. But if you don't need the stereo and you don't want to adjust left and right and you're okay, you heard my system, it works fine. So they made a bunch of different models. But this one's $39. This one's $65. The 322, this was a good unit. This one, the electronics is just a little bit different than mine in it. Some people prefer this one. It does basically the exact same thing. This is an older unit. This is one of the first generations, the 322. But it's still $65. You can put this on anything. It's going to make anything sound better. Even if you got a Marshall. That's a joke. I know, that didn't go over too well. But you put it on anything, it's going to accentuate the way your guitar sounds. It is basically a contouring EQ. Believe me, put it on any amplifier, on any guitar, and it's an instant I sound better button. Trust me. And you can get them cheap. These are not expensive units. It's $55 for this one, 360. Now this is a very old 362 unit. They made two versions, the red one like this one, you can see the red side, and the blue side one. This one's the one with the blue. And it's blue over here, blue over there. I just mind how, it's the exact same thing, it's just painted different. And then they had the blackface one. This is the solid blackface. Well, actually, that one is blue. They made a blackface one. $89 for that one. Oops, we just minimized. So that's the unit I have, the 362. I don't think you're going to find the other unit. No. If you find one of these PV line amp AMRs, they're going to be between $500 to $1,000, depending on the condition of the unit. I've only found two ever on Reverb, and I bought my second backup unit over here on Reverb about 4 years ago, and I paid about $600 for it. And it needed tubes at that price. So the second piece of equipment in my rack you're looking for the Express. This one right here. This is now this is an older Express. Mine is the newer version. And there is a generation after mine that was a black face. For $500, it should come with the control unit. There is nothing wrong with this unit. I don't care what people say about it and its age. This is a solid tube preamp with digital effects on it. There's nothing wrong with it. You can get any sound that you can imagine out of this unit. It's $500. But nowadays, a Tonex or a Quad Cortex is that. So if you want that 80s sound, 80s equipment. I mean, yeah, I'm running a Synergy now, but I'm still running a Sedano and a Friedman. They're emulating that hot rodded 80s Marshall sound. That's what they're doing. My other unit, which I don't think we're going to find it, BK Butler. And that is a RT46 RT. No, you're gonna have a hard time finding a BK Butler power amp. Let me just put power amp. Now, right here's mine. There is a difference. If you look, this is a MOS valve. This is a solid state power amp. Just don't waste your money. If you want a good solid 6L6 rack mount power amp, this is the one to get. This is the one I've had. It's given me 30 years of flawless service. It's a solid power amp. It doesn't say Marshall. It doesn't say Mesa Boogie. But I'm telling you, this BK Butler is a monster 50 watt stereo 6L6 power amp. There's nothing wrong with it. It's never failed on stage. It's been dropped. It's been beat. It just keeps working. Like I said, I've abused mine. That's the power amp that I use. So that's pretty much everything I use. Now, my other part of my equipment is an SYN2. So this is my preamp, my new preamp. Now this one is coming, now it does not come with these modules for $900. I guarantee it. All tube dual module single rack space base unit. So you're not getting these input modules. So you're getting this rack unit that has the tubes that these don't have. So there is a clean channel in here and some other circuitry, and there's two bays that you can add whatever module that you want to add to it. So you can get it cheaper at Sweetwater. I think it's $7.99 on Sweetwater.
Do you
So,
think it's worth $1,000?
Do I think what?
Do you think it is worth $1,000?
Which one?
I don't know. It just says, do you think it's worth $1,000?
The BK Butler power amp, yes, it is 100% worth $1,000. Because if you look at the Ferret 1700, a VHT Purple Monster or the Silver Monster is 2600. A Mesa Boogie power amp in rough condition is going to be $1,200. The Marshalls are hit and miss. The Marshall 50 stereo, a lot of people poo-poo on it. I don't know. I've never played through one, but you're going to pay $1,500 to $1,600 for that. The Synergy is going to be probably $1,200 for the 50 watt Synergy rack mount power amp. The BK Butler has character. For someone to say it's transparent, that's kind of lying to you. A tube amp gets its sound from the tubes. So not only does your preamp color your tube, but your sound, but your power amp does too. And the BK Butler has that 6L6 mighty sound, and it uses that 6L6. It makes the amp is designed to it's a 6L6. They're not trying to hide the 6L6. It's designed to accentuate the things the 6L6 does. If you like a 6L6 gain stage, you'll love the BK Butler. If you like EL34s, you probably won't like the BK Butler. It's a different kind of sound. It's a 6L6 sound. Imagine a 6L6 amp that you've played. You've played amps with 6L6s. Times that by 100. because they designed it to accentuate the quality of the 6L6. That's what BK Butler did on this amp. It is wired to accentuate that sound. This one's not in bad shape. It's got a little rack rash here. It's not horrible. There's your 6L6 GC by 4s. It is heavy, just so you know. It's heavy. It's made in the USA. Guys, I used to be 100% USA made. All my amplifiers were USA made. I ran Hafler. I paid extra money for USA made stuff. It's just been in the last, well, I remember when Digitech went overseas and the quality went out the window with the overseas production. But all my Digitech Studio 200s, my DBX1s, my 262s, my 286s, they're all made in America. My Alesis Multiverb 4 was one of the last units made in America. There is a difference. These jacks in the back, they're stronger, the pots are stronger, the metal's thicker. It's just a robust unit. And you can see here's the input. 8 ohms, 4 ohm, input, stereo, ground lift. It's a solid power amp, but it's a power amp. There's no preamp. So you have to have a preamp. So that's why my preamp, I'm using this. So if we look at the preamp modules, now here's the one slot. So this is like the SYN2, but it only takes one module. You can do that. I just wanted the rack mount. This is the rack mount. And there's 2 modules on it. I'm running the Sedano module and the Friedman module. So if we type in Synergy.
Yeah, $5 super chat from Niles.
Ooh, thank you, Niles. We want modules, right? So here's the modules. So yeah, they go from $300 to about $400 per module. They've got some new ones out. This new Plexi module, everyone's screaming about this. The Dr. Z. If you buy just the Dr. Z amp, it's $3,000. With this system, you buy a power amp, you get that, and you can have any amp you want. You want a Dr. Z, slap the Dr. Z module. You want a Friedman, slap a Friedman module on it. You want a Sedano? Now, this is the updated Sedano module. Mine doesn't have this. Mine has separate gains and volumes, but it shares an EQ. I really wish mine had this, but mine was one of the very first ones that come out. They updated this about 1.5 years ago. So now both channels, you can change the EQ settings on both channels. Mine, you can't do that. So that's the module, and there's the tubes. Like I said, there's more tubes in the rack mount module itself. They're only putting the tubes in this that needed to run this particular module. The rest of the tube preamp is in the rack unit itself. And then the other one I have is here's the Engel Powerball 2. And this is the other module I have. I have the Friedman module, BE-DLX. So it's not a cheap amplifier, but this is a great platform. Is your buy-in high? Yeah, your buy-in's high. But if I want a Fender Bassman, I can do that. I just put a B-Man module on it, and I've got a Fender Bassman. If I want a C2, one of the old, I forget what the darn thing's called, C plus 90 or whatever the thing, I can get it. Here's the diesel, the Synergy diesel. And these modules are made by these companies. So Friedman makes this one, Diesel makes this one. I think Ferret is making some of the modules for some of the companies like Friedman and some, but it's built to diesel specs or Friedman spec. But I think Synergy makes some modules as well. Like they make the Beeman module and some of the. Here's the Beeman module right here. This is the next module I want. This is a Baseman module. It is 96% Baseman sounding. You never know unless you directly A-B'd it. It wasn't a Baseman. $350. So what I want to do is I want my Friedman, my 2 channels on my Friedman, and then I'm going to have 2 channels on Baseman. So I'm going to get a light crunch and a clean out of this module. So I have light crunch, clean. With this, flip a button, I can have medium dirt and high gain on the Friedman and still have my open bypass channel for my modeler, if that makes sense.
Marshall is making the JMP for Synergy.
Who is?
Marshall.
Marshall? Yeah. Usually, some of the companies make their own module for Synergy, but I do know some of the modules are made by Ferret, which is VHT. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That guy's a genius. That's the guy doing the C plus unit, if that makes sense. If I've got my module back, yeah. He's the one doing the VHT and Ferret. I'm trying to find it. Boyer. Here's the Engel module. They've got so many modules now for this thing. It has gotten crazy. I'm not seeing the one I was thinking of. It's a C90 plus or C plus something. I think it's a Mesa Boogie amplifier that was really popular. Here is the Sedano module that I have. Notice it shares the EQ on both channels. So, yeah, this is used because he probably wants to sell this one and buy the one where it has separate EQ on both channels. And I get it. I kind of want to sell mine too and get the other Sedano module. But if I get the Beeman module, I'm not worried about it. I'll have the Sedano module as a backup. That does sound different than the Friedman. The distortion is different. It's not the same sound. Here it is, the 2CP. I'm pretty sure that this is a Mesa amplifier. And this is made by Ferret, VHT. I know that's who makes this module. It's not my sound, but if you want that 2CP sound and you don't want to pay $6,000 for a head because they go for stupid money, just buy this. You're way ahead of the game. It's going to sound just like the real thing. It is the real thing. You know. So that's the rig that I'm running, guys. Like last week, we kind of did a close-up view of it. But this gives you an idea if you wanted to emulate my amplifier. That's kind of what you would have to do. So, and this is very much a part of my amplifier. The power amp stage is very important. So I don't know what all that adds to, but it's not cheap. That's why I constantly tell people when I play Linnell's little Yamaha amp here for $325, is it a tube amp? No, it's not. It's not as good. But I'll tell you what, for $325 and the ability to be able to talk to you all and play and the sound that that little amplifier makes, it's good enough. I still play my tubes though. I'm not going to lie to you all. The day that I pick up a modeler and I think it's as good as my rack mount unit, I will tell you. Right now, I have not done that. I have not played a modeling system that I feel is connected and sounds as warm as some of my 30 old equipment. As sad as that sounds, there's a reason why some of this older equipment goes for stupid money. Sometimes it's a gem in the rough. You know, what was it, that pedal a couple, what was it, last year, that Bad Monkey. Everyone had to have a Bad Monkey pedal, and they went to $700. It's whatever's hot on YouTube, or you know, whatever they're, you know, somebody having to make a video of, and then all of a sudden it goes viral, and then everyone has to have it. If you can get it reasonable, like that 362, I'm telling you, for $39 or $50, like we saw on Reverb, you guys need to buy one. If you have an effects loop on your Marshall DSL, or you've got a Egnator, or any other little combo amp that has an effects loop, I'm telling you, put it on there and you're going to be instantly surprised. If you've got a small studio, you can also use it with vocals. You'll be surprised on what it does for your vocals as well. So hopefully that answers the Discord question. I'm going to see if we got any more on Discord. And nope, it was just Steve's question. So hopefully that answers. But Steve, if you want the aerial exciter, that it's going to do the exact same thing. It's processing the signal the same way, if that makes sense. But I'm using the BBE version. I had coffee made during the break, but I did not have the opportunity to actually drink it. Isn't that awful? And we lost the oh, there it is. I was going to say we lost the chat. So that's the rundown. Now I want to kind of do something different. I swore that I was going to start paying more attention to the chat, guys. Sometimes I feel like I neglect you guys. So if you haven't heard, Linnell has a microphone now. So, and the only way I actually hear Linnell like you all hear us, I have to have these on, because she comes through the Mackie. So, any questions or anything that, I know Birdman thought I was upset with him the other week because I guess he had asked a question and I thought I answered it and then it got lost. It's just that I don't really pay too much attention to the chat. And I did look into what Searching for Tone said, the little chat thing. And I think that's a cool idea. We're going to make changes. So I thought we would start with Linnell reading out whatever questions. And she was doing that this chat. The channel will evolve, if that makes sense. Wherever it ends up, it ends up. But we did add a microphone for Linnell. So during the chat this time, she was able to say questions and stuff and stop me from just going out on a tangent. I see we got 26 people. Remember, we're giving a guitar away. It's a Fender Player. All you have to be is subscribe to the channel, and you need to go to Discord, go to the opt-in room and say, yes, I want opt-in on the free guitar. It is a brand new Fender Player 1. Well, technically it's a returned item. Shenandoah Music gives people 30 days to play an instrument. So this guitar was played, and the guy didn't bond with it, and they brought it back. The guitar has been in their store for quite some time, and the Player 2s have come out. So this is an older version, but it's still a brand new guitar. And we're giving it away for free. So you have to be publicly subscribed to the channel, and you need to go to Discord so Devastator can log your name in. And if your name is different on Discord than it is on YouTube, please put I'm such and such on YouTube. And that's it. We have a predetermined amount of people that need to sign in to log in to win. And even if we get the maximum, I'm going to tell you right now, you have stupid crazy odds of getting an $800 guitar for free. And thank the people to your right or below in the chat. These are the people that made that guitar possible through Super Chats. The Super Chat money goes to buy things for the channel and also giveaway products, pedals, guitars, other stuff. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone that's contributed to that.
Birdman said he realizes that between your jamming and your squirrel brain, it's tough to do it all. Ha ha.
I do have the squirrel brain, and she still has a lot of reverb on her voice, doesn't she, guys? So we're gonna modify that one more time.
It makes me sound like I'm yelling at you.
Yeah, we're trying to get you balanced in, honey.
Be nice if you just hit mute.
No, we can't hit mute. All right, now try, baby.
Now try.
There she is. There she's a little better. She's coming through this one more than the other one, so obviously the Mackie channel is starting to fail.
Kurt said that they are here to chat with each other and just ignore you. LOL.
Pretty much, and that's fine. I got no issues with that whatsoever, guys. That's what the chat's for. When you guys carry on your conversations, I have no issues with that. That's what this group was started for. We're here to share information. I'm going through my journey on changing my amp setup that I ran for 30 years. I know there's other people just like me that are kind of set in their ways, or they're curious. If I change this, how's it going to work with some of my older equipment?
Mikey said turn up the volume.
Turn up my volume. Check. There we go. Sorry, guys. So with everything that was going on, I had that channel down a little bit because we were using the tube amp, and I was using some of the overheads to pick up some of the room volume. So, any questions, guys? If not, we're gonna move on to another topic. I see we got 25, 26 people. So if you're new here, please post. The more people that post, the better. We try to keep the chat rate up. There's great people here, and just we're all about joining in and having a good time. What was that, hon?
I believe you're talking about turning up my volume.
Yeah, she's very soft spoken. The gain's at 80% and the slider's maxed out. So she just doesn't want to go up next to the mic. That's the issue.
Everybody wants me to just scream into it. Would that help?
Well, I can't even hear you. It could be the channel, guys. We've been having a lot of problems with the Mackie lately. No, you're like maxed out. Where are you at to it?
I'm almost eating it.
You're going to have to step up closer to it. That's all I can give her, guys. We may have to buy Linnell a better microphone. Right now she's running an SM57. I get it. It is an instrument mic, but people have used them for vocals. But it is not a very good. It's not picking her up very well.
Mark said I sounded fine earlier.
It's probably my board. I've turned her up, and she's getting less and less gain. You just have to talk closer to the mic, hon.
I'm just going to have to eat the microphone.
Oh, actually, you know what happened? Now talk, hon.
Can you hear me now?
She's running through the Mackie, and the Mackie's on channel 3. And when I mute the guitar cabinets, all that runs through the Mackie. Oh yeah, they can hear you. Let me turn her back down, since my little squirrel brain didn't understand what was going on. All right, try it again.
Can you hear me now?
One more time.
One more time.
There you go. Sorry, guys. That's something else that I need to change. I only have 2 inputs, so I think what we're going to do next week, I have a mic here and a mic here. That way, as I move around, my voice doesn't change. We may take one of these microphones and put it in there on her. Then she can be on channel 2, and then when I mute the guitar cabinet, it won't mute her out. So, doing the best I can with the equipment that I have.
Steve
but-
said, "Get me a Shure SM7B. I deserve it."
Well, that would probably be the last mic I bought because they're very power hungry and they're very mic gain hungry. If you do a search on those microphones are they're great for what they do, but the drawback is you have to gain the snot out of those microphones. So you're really pushing your pre's with those microphones. So I would probably not do an SM7B just for that reason. I would probably go to another one of these SE microphones. These microphones have a 20 dB cut, and it takes very little power to drive on the preamp side to drive the microphone. So they seem to work really, really well. The 7B, I get it. It's more of a USB style mic, but with the setup that I'm running, I need more XLR, if that makes sense. And even when I update to like a wing rack or an X32, I'm still going to need that XLR and not necessarily a USB microphone. So if you're doing USB and that's the kind of connection that you need, that's probably the microphone to get. Just not for me. That's the Beta 58. Mark, I have one of those somewhere here. I do. I have two Beta 57s, and I know for a fact I've got a Beta 58 here. I looked for it last week, and I cannot find it. I have no idea where it is, but I know I had one because I used that as my vocal mic. I also had that, and I had a PV Diamond series. I liked the PV Diamond, but it was a little too hot, and none of the sound guys really liked the Diamond. Is the 7B XLR or is that okay? It's XLR. The only thing bad I've heard about them is that they take a tremendous amount of preamp gain. That's
Kurt,
the only thing I've heard bad about the 7B.
Kurt said an older SM10 is way better.
An SM10. Don't know the SM10. If that makes sense. I've never heard of that mic. We always used 57s and 56s. These are new. The whole SA microphone thing for me is new.
The SM10 is a headset mic.
Oh.
I could sit out here and look like a truck driver.
That would actually be, well, in our case, she can hear me because I speak pretty loud out here. But the headset mic like that would probably be good because she could hear the guitar and all the outfeed processing.
Niles has to go.
Oh, okay, Niles. You're working again tonight? Assuming he's heading off to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he starts his 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. shift.
Woof. Oh, my gosh. 3 a.m. to 12. All right, Niles, please be careful, and thank you so much for coming each week and hanging out with us. It means a lot to me when I see people come back each week. It means that they're enjoying the company of the group. I see that Cole made it in tonight. Good to see Cole back in the group. If you don't know, Cole's in Israel, so they've had a really hard time over there the last couple of months, and he is a regular. He tries to come in.
Cole has to leave also. He's tired.
Oh, Cole's leaving too. He's tired. All right, Cole, thank you so much for coming in. Like I said, may the Lord bless your family, man, and bless everyone over there, because I know you guys are having a hard time. Even now, even though it's stopped, now you got the process of rebuilding and putting everything back together.
Your dB meter is off.
My dB meter? Yes, it is off. Where the other camera required a cable. So you can see we've got a wiring nightmare, and I do need to buy some cables. The USB stuff like the dB meter, some of the lights and some of the other things, the Stream Deck. Now I'm also using USB to power to connect the black pod. Then I've got a USB on my Line 6 HX Stomp. So I'm running out of USB-C to USB-C cables and USB to USB-C. So I need to do an Amazon order and get some more cables. So I had to rob that cable to power the other camera. So the other camera, we haven't even turned that on tonight. There's the other camera. So you can get an idea of the room. So the other camera's right behind the green cabinet right there. You can see it behind the door there. So it's looking out over the cabinet. So sometimes I turn that on. It's always nice to have another camera for the group, just so we can see what's going on. Pentagore says, I do it often, but I do not recommend it. So they're having their own little conversation there.
They're talking about sleeping only half the night.
Oh. Well, Pentagore and a lot of these guys, they're up till like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning on Discord talking. I'll get up to go to work, and Devastator and them, they posted at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So they're on there late. I'm getting up and they're still on Discord talking. So that's kind of crazy.
Mark says he has 4 or 5 USB to USB-C cables you can have. He's not using them. They're in the drawer.
I need them. If you were my neighbor, I'd run across the street and get them right now. Oh. I got too much stuff plugged in. So the camera and the USB and the dB meter plugs into the power strip behind the rack mount amp.
Cole said he watched all of your lives, replay.
Now you can hear right there, hear how she come through the one and it crackled on the other. That's the Mackie. It's been doing a lot of that lately. Thank you, Cole, for going back and watching the lives. Some days at work I turn it on, and just so people can come in and go, is that you? It messes with them. It's fun. But I always go back and listen to it just to hear my playing, to see what I need to work on. I've got issues with not using the right word sometimes, so I'm really trying to become better at speaking, better at explaining what I'm talking about. Sometimes I do really well, and then other times I'm like, wow, just get it out, Avery. It's almost like I can't get the word to describe it. And I felt that way on the last review that we did, that we were talking about something. I went back and looked at the review on this guitar, and I'm sitting there going, just get it out. Come on, get it out. Now, if I would have recorded that, I would have just stopped and started over and done it to where, it didn't sound like I stumbled.
Mark said send him your address.
Okay. You're cutting in. Guys, I'm going to start saving money. We've got Linnell's Jackson that we're making payments on. So when the Jackson is paid off, I am going to have to buy a board. Because this board is starting to cause all kinds of issues. You can hear it in Linnell's microphone. And she's on channel, I think, 14. And that, I can play with it. It's just dirt. But once it starts doing that on a board with that many pots, it's just going to be a nightmare, if that makes sense. So we've played our amplifier with the Fender, and we played it with the Schecter. So we're gonna now use Linnell's guitar that we just did the review on. So I'm gonna cut back the overheads in here. You can hear I have turned, remember, we turned the gain, we're only at 40% gain. It's still got a lot of gain, guys. This is quite a bit of gain. And we just lost everything. We just lost everything. And I was just saying that I didn't have her this year. Got no room volume whatsoever. So we might be switching amplifiers, guys. It's not looking good. Might have just lost something. Yep, we lost something. Well, looks like we're playing into the Yamaha for the rest of the night, guys. Until I figure out what just happened.
Mark said when you guys get a chance, go to Guitar Center and see if they have a nice used one and let him know. He said, I will contribute to the company.
A nice used what?
I'm assuming a microphone.
Oh. I haven't really seen if they have any used microphones.
I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
I'm not sure. I've never seen them have any used microphones up. What'd you say?
Birdman said tube went. He's asking. Did you
I'm not sure. I will have to get behind and see that I would say an output tube. So it just immediately cut off. That's usually.
Mark's talking about a mixing board.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking I need to really do some updating, Mark. So when we save up for it, we're probably going to do like a wing rack or an X32. We're right now we're maxing out the Mackie that we have, and it's 16 channels. So just the way this is set up, okay, this is using 6 channels. The way it's technically set up, because you got 2 overheads in the room, 2 microphones on the cabinet, and then 2 DI directs, and then I'm mixing those signals together to get that sound.
Trucker Bob came in.
Hey, there's Trucker Bob. So this is the little Yamaha. Gotta cut it back just a little bit. So you can hear there is definitely a difference. That's what I'm saying, guys. For $350 to get that sound, you just before the amp went down, to hear that versus the real tube amp. That's why I'm always saying it's kind of crazy how good some of these little modeling amps have gotten. It's not as direct as the tube amp, but it's getting there.
Is that neck as thin as the RG 550?
It has been years since I played an RG 550. This is quite a thin neck. It's a very thin neck. If you haven't seen the review on this guitar, we did a review last Thursday night on it. I think I've said it a couple different times. I'm under the impression at the $470 price mark, this Ibanez RGA, it's good pickups, good electronics, good tuning keys. It's just a great guitar. It's got a thin neck on it. It does have a shiplap joint in the neck, but that's okay. I made a comment the other day. I can go from standard tuning to drop C, and I do not adjust the truss rod. That's stupid crazy. I mean, really, that's a big, huge tune change, and I don't have to adjust the truss rod on this guitar. One of the reasons why I just went from a standard tune to this during the break. To be able to just instantly drop the tune to a drop tuning like this and not really have to mess with the guitar, I like that. That's just one less thing I have to mess with. I know some of my other guitars, as soon as I do it, well, none of my floating bridge guitars you can do it, but my other fixed bass guitars, I see the neck. I can look down the neck and go, oh wow, yeah, it's done this number where it's bowing back, because now I don't have enough string tension on the neck to keep the neck with the truss rod adjustment to where it is. With this guitar, I'm looking down it with this drop tune going from 440. It's still exactly where it was. Now this is drop D, 1/2 step down. So it's not a huge change from 440, but it is tuned a 1/2 step down to drop D. So technically it's not D anymore, but imagine tuning 1/2 step down from drop D. That's where it's at. To me, it just makes it a little meaner sounding. It's not as mean sounding as drop C, but it does give it a meaner sound. It's got a little bit meaner tone to it. Like I said, it's drop. I'm a 1/2 step down from drop D. I can't remember what that would be, but it's 1/2 step down from it. It's mean. And like I said, that's that little Yamaha amp, guys. So I like my tube amp, but just doing what we're doing here, I like the sound that I get out of that little modeler. It impresses me every time. I can't imagine when I was young playing, if I could have bought a $450 guitar and paid $350 for a nice amp like that and got that kind of sound, get out of here. I mean, that's crazy. You're, I mean, it's crazy what you can get for your money nowadays. And people are like, well, you can't go out and play with that. Well, if they've got front of house sound, I can go right out of the headphone jack and just say, plug me in. That's all I need. You don't need any more than that. You really don't. I'm not going to lug this thing. I can tell you right now. I'm not lugging that amp. I'm too old to lug that thing. I'm going to take my Line 6 Stomp or this little guy, and I'm going to go play. But I like my tube amp. Like I said, guys, I still think they do sound a little better. But it's getting really hard to tell. In a mix, listening to it, I'll be honest with you, I know for a fact I could not tell the difference. If I took 2 hours and I tried to get this and I used the same effects and got basically the same sound on my rack amp versus this little Yamaha, and you put them both in a mix, I guarantee you I would not be able to tell the two apart.
Trucker Bob says when you have time, he has an amp question.
Yeah, what's the question, Mr. Bob? We're all ears. That's Linnell's job. She reads the questions. Oh. If I have an answer, Trucker Bob, I'm more of a guitar tech. But there's a ton of people in this room, so if I don't have a good answer for you, somebody on the right, if you're on a computer, or somebody below you below the screen will definitely give you a good answer. So ask away. And I know there's a delay, so I'm just burning time at this point. It gives me time to drink a little coffee. And get a smoke, because I'm a smoker. And we just lost the YouTube studio, so that might have been why Trucker Bob wasn't saying anything. So I'm going to hit Manage Videos and go back. Okay, I've got the chat back up. Alright, well, until Trucker Bob types in his question, I'm kind of curious what went bad. We'll have to see. I put tubes in the BK Butler about a year and a half ago. I'm going to say I lost a preamp staging tube. That would be my guess. Or I was too much signal, so I might have clipped it and blew the fuse on the input stage.
Birdman says, which Harley Benton cab is in the corner, man?
Actually, that's an SR cab. So it's not a Harley Benton cab. It's made by SR. And that SR cab is loaded with two Celestion V30s. And these are the China-made V30s. And it's the ones that everyone poo-pooed on. I mean, they're okay. I know they claim, what was it, about 8 or 9 months ago, they claim Celestion changed something on the China-made V30s. I don't know whether they did or they didn't, but I know that these are the ones that everyone said weren't too good, that evidently the older V30s were better. I have no idea.
All right, Trucker Bob's question. Do you see it, or you want me to read it all?
I have two crate power blocks, both bridged. One gets about half or less volume than the other. Not wiring, not speaker. Can I switch back and forth on cab so it's down 1 dB? Anytime you start having two units doing two different things and they're exactly that, there's an internal problem somewhere. So basically, you're just putting a band-aid on it, if that makes sense. Just like my keyboard, when you hear Linnell, she's coming through here and it's crackling on the other side. I can take my Mackie somewhere and they could probably clean it and patch it up. But when stuff starts causing issues, that's why we've been working on my rack amp. It's been doing little funny things now for about 2 years.
He said if volume on PV1 is at 7, PV2 on maybe 3, they have the same volume.
Yeah, there's a definite issue there, Bob. They should be. If your input gain is the same on both power blocks, your output gain should be the same. So I'm not sure on the crate if it's like this, you'll have a gain knob on the power amp, presence and output. So make sure that on the back of the unit that it doesn't have like negative 20 decibel cut or something like that, that one of the power blocks is set up different than the other. If it's not, then yeah, you can go up and turn the gain back on the one and get them to balance out. You can do that, but just keep in mind that that's a band-aid. They shouldn't do that. There's an issue. And I've been having that problem with this amp. And Mike rebuilt my one inline tube because on the stereo effects loop, I was getting a lot of gain on the right and very little on the left. And the tubes and the circuitry and the caps needed to be replaced in my one inline tube sweetener. So he fixed it. And then I was still having a couple problems with the stereo imaging channel on the ART, depending on where I swing it. And it's doing the exact same thing. I was getting a little less on the left and less on the right. You know, and you take the balance knob and you try to get it to where it's the same. But keep in mind, there's a problem somewhere. It shouldn't do that. You should be at really close to 50% if your input signal to both channels are the same.
Birdman says there's a, I'm assuming that's Harley Benton, 212 cab for 300 on reverb, Harley Benton store. Is it worth looking into further? It's two 16-ohm 12s in it.
I know Harley Benton does do Celestions. It depends on the drivers. I've heard nothing bad about the Harley Benton cabinets, and I've heard good things about the ones that have the Celestions in them. So it's what you want. Speakers make a big difference in your sound, Birdman. That's what I was saying earlier. If you know what you like, then look for a cabinet loaded with those drivers.
He said he'd like to make his little crate, quote unquote, sound bigger, lol.
Well, a 12-inch driver will definitely do that. I don't know if you want to play hair music. Look at a greenback, a creamback, something like that. If you're doing more modern stuff, then maybe look at a V30. It's going to be more modern voiced. But the speaker is the most important thing. It really is. Now, how the cabinet's built makes a difference, but I haven't heard bad things about the Harley Benton stuff. I really haven't.
Trucker Bob says it's not the speaker because you can switch from one power block to the other, and the same power block always has less power.
Yeah, you've got a problem in the power block. I don't know if you know Mike on the channel. He's one of the moderators. You're a truck driver. What state is Mike in?
I don't remember. Utah?
I think he's in Utah, Trucker Bob. So I know Mike goes back and watches all the streams. So what you can do at the end of this stream, put attention Mike, music and gear channel moderator, and the next time I talk to him, I'll tell him that you have a thing, and he can look at the amplifier and he can fix it. Whatever's wrong with it, he'll need both of them, and he'll O-scope them both and get them both operating back up to what they need to operate at. Finding good electronic techs on amplifiers nowadays, it's hard to do. Mike has worked on my stuff. He's done flawless work. I knew a guy that blew up a VHT that I sold him. He fried it and sent it to Mike, and Mike rebuilt it, and it's better than new now. And he blew everything in that because he put the tube in wrong. VHT, you can put an adapter in the tube socket, and you don't have the little nipple on the side so you can rotate the tube. Well, he put a different tube in it with the adapter, and he didn't put the pins in the right orientation, and it fried that amplifier. So Mike rebuilt that whole amp, put all new caps in it, put new tubes in it, did a bunch of stuff to that amp, and brought it back to life. Better than new.
Trucker Bob says he doesn't get to Utah. He just runs East Coast and as far west as Texas at most.
Okay. I don't know anyone else, Trucker Bob. So that might be something. I know, as you're driving trucks, you're watching other channels. I would reach out to some other channels and see who they recommend. They might know somebody that services amps.
He said maybe he could UPS it.
Yeah, you could 100% UPS it to him. So if you want to leave a comment down in the chat for him, or the comment section at the end of the video, and just say, hey, I'm Trucker Bob. I got this amp. Avery says you're really good. I'd like to send you this amp, and I can get you his information or your information to him. Go on Discord and or send me an email, and I'll forward your information to Mike because I've got his email and stuff. So that might be the best way of doing it. Just forward me your information, and then I can forward it to Mike. But yeah, you've got an internal problem in the amplifier if it's doing that. And I know because we're suffering that exact same thing here. And the issue is it's just stuff gets old, man. It needs to be taken apart and cleaned. It could be something as simple as one of the potentiometers in there. Your gain controls. Or a cap is leaked down and it's way out of value. And now it's throwing the amp off. And I say both of them because the one that's really loud might have a problem. It may have a restricting circuit in it that's not right, and the one that's low, he needs to go through both of them, okay? That way he can get them to work as a matched pair. So he's going to go through both amps, and he's going to go, I need these outputs to be similar, and he's going to go, okay, what do I need to replace in these amps to make them respond and act similar? So if you rebuild the one, it's going to have all new components on it. The other one's still going to be old. So now you're definitely out of whack. So I would definitely let Mike look at them. And he might say the one that's working good is fine. That what you're changing isn't going to affect anything. It's just going to bring the one that's not working right up to the one that is working right. That I'm just saying, Mike will know. But when you start doing that, you need to have both amps there. That way you can do an output comparison and make sure that they're working similarly, if that makes sense. Yeah, just send me an email and we'll get you the information, Trucker Bob. It's no big deal. We're here to help. And like I said, Mike is one heck of a tech. He's the only guy that, like I said, that unit is very rare. It's a very, very rare unit. And I sent it to him because I knew that he was going to not cut corners. And when I sent it to him, I said, look, you've got this thing apart. If it needs caps, if anything's out of value, fix it. Take it apart. If any of the traces look bad, call me, let me know what you need to do to it. I want it fixed and fixed right so I get another 30 years of service out of it. He called me and said, well, it needs this, but since we're in there, these things are almost out of spec, and we should replace these electrolytics and these items, and replace and clean. And I'm like, Mike, you're the boss. You do what you would do if it's your piece of equipment and you wanted it to work right. And it has been flawless since he's worked on it. Well, actually, the unit he worked on is the unit up top. So that one's brand new. So if that one blew, that's why I have two of everything. So if that one went out, well, I'm not using it tonight, so I know that didn't cause the problem. But let's say it was hooked up and that unit went out and I lost everything. I've got my brand new backup that was just rebuilt right there. I slide that in the rack and I'm good to go. So hopefully nothing expensive died. And I don't need to send Mike my Synergy rack mount preamp. That would really suck. But if it does, that's fine. I can go back and use the old faithful ART preamp. That's why we have redundancies. Tonight was the first night that I'd never used the ART. We were using all Synergy product tonight. So you know what it might have been, guys? I was running batteries in the pod, and I'm looking down, and there's no lights on. So I think when I lost the effects loop, I think it killed my signal path. It might be something as simple as I need batteries in my, because we were playing for like almost 4 hours with those batteries in it.
You want to put some batteries in, see what comes back on?
I know there's brand new ones on the counter.
Yeah.
So she's going to bring me some
What
batteries.
size are they?
Yeah, let's try that. Because it is dead.
Birdman wants to know, when you do a refret, do you need the whole guitar?
Technically, no.
What size are those batteries?
There should be brand new ones on the counter. Because there was batteries in it. These are AA. Or in the box.
I don't have the box.
Oh, then I've got them. This might be what caused the issue. So here's the batteries that were in it. So they didn't, when I picked it up today, I had to take the floor model. So I don't know how old those batteries were. So here's our box. And inside the box there's batteries. But I didn't switch them because I'm like, okay, well it's got batteries in it already. So I already know that these batteries aren't too good. These are these GP. But we'll at least see if was that what happened.
Did you answer all of the whole, do you need the whole guitar for a refret?
Well, you don't technically need the whole guitar for a refret, but it does put it on you to reset the neck and shim the neck properly to the bridge. If you're paying someone to do a refret, I think I would just give them the whole guitar, let them do the refret, let them do a setup, and give the guitar a tune-up, if that makes sense. But you don't have to. If you feel comfortable bolting the neck back on the body and making sure that it's shimmed properly to the bridge and doing your own setup, the tech doesn't need the body of the guitar to do the refret. He can pull the frets, straighten the neck off the guitar. Okay, get the neck perfectly straight, let it acclimate, pull the frets, put the new frets, level, crown, do all the work, and then just ship the neck back to you. So no, technically you don't need the whole guitar. Let's see here, which way do they go? And there's a little cover somewhere. Alright, we got flashy lights again. So let me turn the power amp back on. It really depends on the neck. To be honest with you, on which one. It doesn't seem to have made a difference.
Don't forget to plug the guitar back in.
Oh, well, yeah, it might help to plug the guitar back in too. Linnell, she's my little assistant.
That was devastator.
Really? There it is. It was batteries. I feel so much better now knowing that we didn't have a catastrophic tube failure.
You need a power supply for that thing.
Yes, I need a power supply for that thing. So here's our tube amp again. I'm sorry. I like my Yamaha amp. Well, not mine. It's Linnell's Yamaha amp. I like that amp, but there's tubes. Tubes are awesome. That just made my night. Yeah, I definitely need a power supply because that would really suck if I'm not quite understanding why, because in my ART, if something happened in my effects loop, it's not gonna. In my ART, I gotta turn my main. If my effects loop died, it's not gonna kill the whole amp. So I'm not really understanding why the Synergy SYN2 completely. I had to look at how the signal path works. But when this thing died, it killed everything.
Birdman said he thinks he ruined a couple of those soft frets on his Silvertone 2. He said you can still play it in that area, sort of.
Yeah, a refret, just so you know, a refret's a lot of work. I mean, it is. To be honest with you, any time I work on guitars, and this isn't saying that I don't charge enough or anything else. I charge what techs charge. But even at that rate, it's a quarter or it's 20% of what I can make it work. That's why when people come up to me, oh, my tech give me a price of, I used to hear it a lot. Oh, he wants $300 to put frets in my guitar. Yeah, it should be a lot more than that. You got to think when we look at these guitars, where they're made over there because the labor rate is so cheap. That's how come they can build this guitar for $470. You can't build this guitar in the United States for that because of the labor rate. You just can't. It's not possible. So when you look at the tech and the tech wants to make $18, $20 an hour, that's not good money. In today's world, the Sheets down the street, the gas station, pays $22.50 an hour where I live. Working at a gas station, $22.50 an hour. So your tech makes less than the teller at Sheets. And he's far more talented. So at that rate, if he's going to spend 10 hours, he's going to spend more than 10 hours on it. He's going to spend 15, 16 hours on that guitar, refretting it, leveling it, crowning it, dressing it. Well, do the math. Even at the sheets rate, it's more than $300. It's sad, but that's what we've come down to.
Birdman said maybe a Christmas sale. Ha ha ha.
I'm just being honest with you. That's why when I do service guitars, I usually don't do refrets. I have done them. Some people want to keep their guitar. It's just, once you get to that point, you got to love it. You have to love the instrument because it costs a lot to refret a guitar. And the guitar is never, ever, ever the same. You're refretting it. The frets on your guitar make all the difference in the world. This is what you're playing on. Okay? So it's what you feel. The height of the fret, the width of the fret, how smooth the fret is, the crown radius. Some people like pointy frets, some people like a flatter fret, some people, all these little things, when you do a refret or even a crown and level, drastically changes the way that guitar plays. And I always look at people, I try to ask people, play the guitar, tell me as much information as you can, because when I do the work, I want to try to get the guitar as close to what I feel they like. Or show me guitars that you like. I'll look at the frets and I'll get an idea. Well, he said he likes the way this one feels, so I'll look at the frets, and then I'll look at some other ones, and I'll start to get an idea. Well, he likes a flatter fret. He likes a pointier fret. You know, he doesn't like a super slick fret. Some people don't like a super slick fret. So the more information that you can give the person, the better off you'll be.
You also have to be careful about tearing out the rosewood too.
Rosewood isn't that bad. No issues whatsoever. Rosewood is probably one of the most forgiving woods to do a refret on. Even if it does chip out a little bit, the fillers for rosewood make it almost impossible to tell. Unlike maple, when it chips out on maple, you can always see it if you know what you're looking for. Ebony is probably one of the worst woods for chipping, but ebony is somewhat forgiving as long as it's black ebony. Some of these striped ebonies, that can get a little funny, trying to get that to match if it chips out on you. I always tell people, go to a little bit wider fret. You know, especially if you think it's going to chip out or it's really dry, go to a wider bass line on the fret. And that gives you a little bit of cheating room. If you go with narrow frets, it's just going to show more, if that makes sense. Heat the frets, that's all you can do. Try to loosen that bond up a little bit and just be gentle. That's all you can be. There's little teeth on the end of that tang on that fret. No matter what you do, as that fret comes out of the guitar, those little teeth grab in that rabbet. And sometimes it chips. There's no magic sauce to it, guys. You just got to be careful.
Cheryl has to go.
And get ready to do some filling. All right. Thank you, Cheryl, so much. We need more women in the stream. So the women in the stream right now, tell your friends that there's a cool guitar channel. Whether you play guitar, bass, drums, keys, it doesn't matter. It's about playing music. That's what we're here for. But really want to thank Cheryl. She's always on the Discord. She contributes so much at Discord. She really does pipe in, give her comment. You know, funny. That's the kind of Discord people that just make it fun to go and make comments. Even though she talks my woman into chasing me around the house with a frying pan, we'll let that slide. But other than that, she's great. I'm happy that it was just a battery issue. This guitar, I know I keep saying it. I love this little guitar. I am going to not only buy a new mixing board, but I'm gonna be on the hunt for another one of these guitars. This thing is just an incredible instrument. I think I want to set one of these up. Now I know I just said I can go from standard tuning to drop C, but I want to set one up directly with different string gauges for, drop D, drop C type tuning. This is 42 to 9s. So I think I'd want to go 46 10s on it and really do a nice setup for some drop tunings on it. I love that. All right, so we're going to just change it. It's an impressive instrument, guys. It's not mine, but I can honestly say that that's quite an impressive instrument. And like I said, if you missed the review on it, I don't have a tag for it, but we did the review last Thursday night. Just go to the main page, click under live videos, and you'll see that the Ibanez RGA review. Go check it out. We do a lot of live reviews here. The guitar, just if you want the quick synopsis of it, we only really found one fret with a spot. The other fret, I mean, it did have a slight rock, but any tech would probably let that slide. And the one spot we found was just under, I think, the B string. I think like the 21st fret, somewhere in that ballpark. Great fret leveling. Great dressing, great fit and finish, decent pickups. I like the pickups. The tone, the volume, everything works well on the guitar. It's just a solid instrument at that price point. Oh, let me see. What am I missing, hon?
Trucker Bob says he likes it, but it's missing a Floyd Rose or a Kaler.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Trucker Bob. I'm all about Floyd Roses and Kalers, but what I just did, what you just saw me do, you can't do on a Floyd Rose or a Kaler. You can't. You can't go from drop D down a half step to 440 like that. There's not enough room in the fine tuners to do that. So you got to break the nut and make an adjustment. And then when you do that, also you're going to be making a spring change adjustment on the back. That's why a lot of these guys play fixed bass bridges when they start playing in a lot of these alternative tunings and switching. And when you're playing it, they made a comment to me at the music store the other day. They said they thought I was playing a floating bridge guitar. When you're playing just... You can cheat when you do the pulls. you're essentially doing the same thing. Sorry. Need something to drink. I already have the string bent, but I'm going to bend it more. You can get around it. Where you run into an issue is when you go down to reach and doing. So then you start bending the neck on the guitar. But doing just hammer-ons and stuff, you can cheat it. You can get that sound. Start practicing your vibrato. Like I'm going to go from this chord to this chord. Okay? But I'm going to use 2 fingers because I'm on a fixed bridge. So I'm going to go. Get your hand muscles. You will get it. And this is coming from a guy that loves bridges. But when I play this guitar, I just keep in mind, I don't have that tight bridge. I need to play a little differently. But you're also going to notice when you strike your open notes, you're not going to have the problems that you do with the fluid. You can't do that with a Floyd because your end note's going to go out of tune. As soon as you come down and do that E is going to drop, or E flat in this case. It's going to drop tune. Just saying. That's the one drawback. No matter what you're doing on the Floyd, when you bend here, that tremolo dives forward and all your other strings are going to be out of pitch. So I see the case for both. I really do. But I am a tremolo guy. I love a tremolo. Okay, guys. I think we're going to call it a night. We've been on for 3 hours and 8 minutes. Unless someone has something that we want to go over real quick in the conversation. I see Vox Guitar come in, unless he's already been here. I just now saw a post from him. But if anyone has any other questions or something they want to kind of go over, like I said, I'm just happy that it was the batteries in the unit and I didn't have a catastrophic tube failure. Because it's wired completely different. So when it first happened, I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done the effects loop this way, or maybe I should have went out on the other outs to the power out. So my little squirrel gears were going, okay, what did I do wrong? Did I Did I just cost myself $1,600 on a rack mount preamp? Did I have too much signal from the effects loop going into the, you know? So I'm happy I didn't catastrophically blow it. uh, all right, guys. I didn't see anybody post anything new, so as normal, we're gonna do our 5-minute ending thing. And guys, you can stick around, chat. Like I said, that's what it's there for. And it actually gives me a little bit of an opportunity to actually type into you guys too. But hopefully you guys like how we're changing the stream a little bit. And everyone that did a super chat, we greatly appreciate it. I did turn off ads just for that reason. One super chat does more than what we get in YouTube ads. So once the chat comes up on the video, which is I usually wait 3 or 4 days. I go back and I do turn monetization on. So in the future, if someone watches it, they will get ads. But during this stream, you shouldn't have gotten any ads. So I did figure out how to do that. And like I said, you don't have to be subscribed to post. So if you're one of the people watching and you haven't posted, you don't have to subscribe. But we are trying to grow the channel. We just hit 2,200 subscribers, and you see that I didn't change my little sign right there. So now we're on our way to 2,300. Tell your friends, tell anybody about the Discord server and what we do, and let's continue to grow as a group so we can help everybody else out. You know, hopefully tonight, going through the settings and going through the app on the Pod Black, hopefully that helps someone. And that gives them a little bit more information if they decide to go out and purchase one of these units. Yeah, hopefully it gives them an idea of what it'll do. So we might do some, since it has amps and stuff, we might plug it directly into the Egnator's power amp, or plug it directly into the Pro Valve and bypass the Synergy. So let's see if we can do something like that. Since it has some amp modeling in it, what's this thing sound like if I just plug my guitar into that and go right into a tube power amp? So maybe next Saturday we can play around with that. I think that would be a kind of a cool experiment. All right, guys, let's go to our 5-minute end chat window. And again, I can't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for helping this channel continue to be something different on YouTube. We want it to be different. We want this place to be somewhere where there's just good information about products. That's what it's about. All right, guys, thanks again. And here's our ending scene. Thursday night. I got to make sure I get the right one. I never get it right. I think it's this one.